what do you expect coverage for proficiency and trending data to be for this year?
That's a good question. You know, with the academic indicators, that overall school performance, with the 4 states we've collected, the coverage hasn't been as high as you would hope. However, the proficiency scores, those have been really, really well represented. And if the first 4 states show us anything, it should probably be around 90–95% at a minimum. And that in turn makes sure we can create those trending data points. So we're expecting it to be really, really high and really well represented this year.
Are there specific Agile parameters we can request when speaking with our reps to obtain the ESSA funding data?
So what we do with those is we present the most current information. So Texas, because we have 2021 information, that will be in there. If you want, you know, Colorado, right now the most current is 2019 until they release their new data. Along those lines, if you want previous year's data, we can certainly do a custom pull and make sure we have that information in there. If you're looking for specific proficiencies and stuff, you can dig into the file and kind of set your own metrics on where you want to see that specific proficiency scores. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, I think so.
Good.
So another question we had submitted was, one more time, so can you kind of explain the 3 different acronyms and what the difference is between them?
Okay, so I'm assuming when you're saying the acronyms, you're talking about ESSA, or excuse me, ESSA versus ESSA data versus Essr funding. So ESSA is the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. That was passed by Johnson back in I think it was like 65. Okay, ESSA was a evolution of No Child Left Behind that deals with the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, and it is called the Every Student Succeeds Act, ESSA. So there's funding associated with that. Essr funding, in particular Essr 3, that was the one that was the American Rescue Plan. It was released back in March, and that stands for the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund. So I know there's a lot of different acronyms in there. So there we go.
Great, thank you so much. And all right, so it seems like I got one more. Can you provide multiple years of ESSA data?
Yeah, we certainly can. We've been doing this for years. I mean, quite literally, we have, you know, going back to AYP, I believe 7–8 years worth of data. Not that you want AYP anymore. It's not impactful, but we can definitely go back and provide you with previous years worth of data for ESSA. You can go back 1 year, 2 years. We can provide any sort of level of granularity you want for those grade level proficiencies, the student performance, or the academic indicators. Keep in mind the academic indicators, like most good setups, they've evolved over the years. So maybe what Texas was using 4 or 5 years ago isn't what they're using now. But if you want to see it, we can provide it.
So somebody submitted, it was, sorry about that. So their response was, yes, really, we are looking to market specific products to those who have weaker performance scores per subject. So the stats would be helpful.
Yep, we can absolutely provide those.
Awesome.
And like I was saying, it's also important to remember, right now we have 4 states because those are the only states that have released that information. We've reached out to 6 of the other bigger states, California, New York, Illinois. Most states are mentioning that they'll be releasing the data sometime in November, which can mean sometimes in December. But we're keeping an eye on this, and we're going to make sure we're getting all 50 states in and DC as quickly as we can.
So there's another question. So does ESSR funding go to districts or directly to schools or to the state?
It goes to the state. Then the state makes sure the districts can get the money, and the districts distribute accordingly. So the districts and the state have a lot of say in that. And that's where we represent the data on Agile side. We have those Essr numbers, both normal Essr 3 funding and the one dedicated to learning loss. We have those at the district. We have those district estimates.
Okay, and the last 2 were, what are the 4 main states again that you mentioned?
They were Texas, Florida, Minnesota, and North Carolina.
Okay. And the last one I see is, does funding support learning recovery for science as well?
I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry, does funding support?
Absolutely.
Yes, for
It is
science.
used to address learning loss, and learning loss can happen multitude of areas. Science is one of the subjects, and it's one of the trending data points we've created so people can see that.
Sorry, there was one more. Are overnight environmental science field trips covered in this funding?
That would be a decision that would probably have to be decided upon at the district level or possibly the state level. If you can show that it can help address learning loss, whether it's social emotional, whether it's specific for a subject, I would assume it could certainly be justified there.
That's all we have so far.
Okay. I just want to make sure everybody knows, should you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. It's we want to make sure you understand the data we have available for you. And we have a team here at Agile between the account managers and the data team that should you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'll be happy to answer them.